Hello. How's it going? Hi, Rachel. I'm excited to see this too. It's really pretty simple to sew. Let me know you can hear me and see me okay. I can see the event I created didn't work. So there's going to be folks going to the wrong spot. I'm just waiting to see if some of them land there. Do that again. The things I have to do. Stream health. No stream health there. Hi, Malin. Hi, Brookie. How's it going? Hi, Beverly. Oh, it was easy fine. Hi, Terry. How's it going? Yeah, so me creating those live events is not working. I tried it on YouTube this time thinking I could fix that, but I don't know. And now I think it's partly due to like Streamlabs makes me confirm when I go live now, which it never did before. And that is always inaccurate. So I don't really know what's going on there. And I can't and it's unchecked. It's not even checked as something I have as a preference. So I don't know. I'm gonna brighten this up a tiny bit. So I realized at the end of the video, hi Louise, I hadn't cut the binding for the piping. I have a video for that. All of you probably know that, but just in case you're watching this in the future, like the uploaded, I'm going to go over it really quick. I'm going to cut some bias binding for piping, cording, edging. But I have a video that really explains it. So, and it's a short video. It's like 10 minutes or less. And then I have one on sewing it. Hi, Julian. How's it going? I know, right? Rainbow. Okay, I'm going to try and find my pop-out chat. So just give me a second here because there's going to be folks in the wrong spot where the live event was created. And then there's also the, let's see, can I find my control room here? So many things, you guys. So many things. Let's see here. Because I have a control room on every... Oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this. I'm trying... There we go. Here's my control room. Okay. The only thing I don't like about it... Hi, Helen. Is you guys are all the same color except Brooke. She's blue. All right. So let's see here. I don't see anyone in the other one, so I'm going to exit that out. We're going to do the pop-out chat. Just fast forward through this if you don't want to see me prattle on about this junk. Here we go. Cool, let's do it. All right, so this is going to be the cording for the kitty one. And this is how I would do it. This is a fat quarter. You can get 5.5 yards. I have measured this of bias that is 1 3/8 inch wide, which is a little under 1.5 inches, which is 35 millimeters. I know these measurements now, thanks to Malin. Out of a fat quarter. And a fat quarter is a piece of fabric that instead of the quarter yard being cut like as it comes off the bolt in a linear way, 9 inches is a quarter yard. What they do is they double the width of it so that it's a 1/2 yard, but then it's been cut on the fold of the fabric. So it's basically a quarter yard that's side by side. And this is a much more usable size for a lot of folks. And so the first thing you're going to do, take this fat quarter, you're going to fold it diagonally. Like a lot of people fold napkins, right? It's not always square, so don't fret about that. I mean, look at this. This wasn't even cut very well. And that's because, like, this is the selvage edge and this is the cut edge. So anything not on the straight or cross grain is bias. There's true bias, which is the 45 degree. But anything in between is bias, and it does give you enough for that. All right, so now you folded it once that way. Now you're going to take it, and you're just going to keep folding it on this fold. So the only time you don't go against that fold is this first one. So corner to corner, or really what I do is I'll line up these straight edges here, You don't have to line up the points. That just happened here because look, it's not. Now just turn it. And now stack your folds like this. And this works for any kind of width of fabric. So I'm just going to stack all these folds up like this so I get a nice tidy little piece of fabric to deal with. And do I really not have a ruler? I keep stealing my rulers. Let me see. I have one right here. I'm going to use a new knife too because this is a little... The batiks are always really stout to cut through. They're very tightly woven. So then the first thing I do usually is I cut off perpendicular to the fold. I cut off a chunk and then I'll stack it. And so because these edges are folded right here, maybe I won't go into too much detail about that. It's not a big deal. So I'm just going to cut this off as perpendicular as I can to this edge. I'm right-handed, so everything I'm doing is kind of because of that. I'm going to stack these cut edges together so that all of it's there, and then I'm going to put the cut edges towards my left hand. Hi, Vicky. So now I'm ready to just cut my bias, and I like doing it from a cut edge rather than the fold because you can just cut off the fold. That works too, but you don't really, most likely, no matter how hard you try, more often than not, you're not going to stay, this line is not going to stay parallel by the time you get here. You're just going to have to cut it off and discard it. So, and now I just line up my ruler parallel at the width I want, and I cut my binding, and I just leave it, just push it off to the side. There are a lot of ways to do bias. There's a ton of tutorials out there. If this method doesn't speak to you, just look for a different one. There are ones that are a little more complicated in the setup, where you sew it together and then you cut with scissors and you'll get a continuous piece of binding that's already sewn together. I used to do it that way and then I couldn't find how to do it anymore, and I got kind of stuck on this method. So it's a drafting ruler. It's called this one's by Westcott. Can you see that? Oh. It's 2" by 18 inches. I buy these by the dozen. And it's not considered a quilting ruler, but you can use it for quilting. And the reason I say that is it's pretty thin. So it's, if you're kind of new to using a rotary knife, you might opt for one of the thicker quilting rulers. For me, they're a little cumbersome, the measuring for pattern drafting. So I like the thinner ruler. It's a little more nimble, and I can keep it more accurate. And they've really made these rulers pretty good now. They used to be the 1/8 of an inch that was along that long edge. This one on this side would be a little bit bigger than 1/8, and this one would be a little bit smaller. It was like where they were cutting the ruler was kind of inaccurate. So this is my game. Every time I cut binding, I try and keep it parallel. Look at that, I did pretty good this time. I've done way better before though. When you get to the fold, it's a little hard, it's a little thicker. And just throw that away. And now you have your binding. All right. Now let's set this aside. So now piecing it together. Now I know people really want to skip this step, but it really makes your life so much easier. Lay all your binding. I won't do it all right now. I'm just going to do a little bit. Yeah, they do, Louise. Oh, it's on Instagram. They have it on their website too, and it's in the tutorial for the Closet Case Pouf. Yeah, so make sure all your fabric is the right side up or wrong side up. Doesn't matter. Just be consistent. It's just hard to tell in the batik, so I'm going to take advantage of that. And line up all your angles like this. Try and intersperse the really short ones with the long ones so that you don't have like a section with a lot of seams in it. When you're doing a fat quarter, you're going to have some short ones. And so that 5.5 yards I told you about does include some of those short pieces, but not all of them. So yeah, so just stack it all up like this. You might have some that both edges don't work for this, and so just cut it. You know, if you have one like that, do this. Just cut it like this, diagonally across. You can lay a piece of binding on top of it to get the right angle. So like this, and you just kind of stack all of your angles together like this. And then you're gonna, I like to sew it together in one I'm gonna throw these away. In one continuous thing. And so you take this one, and this is how they go together. You're gonna take two. This has a selvage. This is the other thing I didn't tell you to do because this is a batik. When you have your fat quarter, before you do any of the folding I showed you, cut off the selvage. Oh, Rachel, right? Yeah, rulers, I can talk a lot about those. Yeah, oh, sure, if it has a fixed handle. A handle. That is kind of nice getting your hands above. That's great. I wonder if you could use like a pop socket. I don't think so. It wouldn't stand up. All right, so this has the selvage, you know, right there. All right, so this is, say these are both right side up. You have both, all your angles are the same way. You're gonna take this one and you're just gonna fold it, lay it down like that, okay? So just pick it up, right, because remember, this is the right side, this is the right side, now it's right sides together. You see I have this 90-degree angle because my slice here is 45, right? And now you're gonna line it up on your seam line, and I recommend a 1/4 inch. This is a white thread, don't judge me. Okay, see now how I sewed it right there at that juncture, right there and right there. The reason you do that, you always do it, that's the seam line, is that when you open it up like this, you're gonna get a nice continuous line. And so this is the next thing I always do. This is a little bit of extra work it seems, but I'm telling you, it makes your sewing so much easier. And there you go, now you have a continuous strip of binding. Now just make sure you don't get confused where your fabric is. And so you just keep laying these on here. I didn't say that sentence right. Just make sure you, if your fabric is really hard to tell the right and the wrong side like mine is, make sure you don't get your right and wrong side, because now you've established that this is the right side. It has the clean seam on this side. Don't get it confused, because I've definitely pieced a ton of binding together and along the way flipped it, and so then I had to like cut it there and keep going. And then the other last thing I do, you guys got to remember I've sewn a lot of binding, is I start winding it up. So if you have like a paper towel roll, you can do that. And the best way to do it, I'm going to show you the best way to do it actually, is to set your roll on the table. Keep it flat like this. I can only do this actually from this direction. And wind it on the table like this with your roll in there, and then it'll stay nice and flush. Yeah, don't judge me. At least you can see the seam really easily with the white thread. It's a scrap busting poof, right? So yeah, that is the way to get it nice and flush. There's no real trick to it. All right, and so this way, when I'm rolling it up, it's a little easier for me to see which way is the outside, which is the wrong side, and which is the right side. So this is the right side under here. And you just keep doing this. And the reason I like stacking up my points is that way you're not looking for them. You're just trying to make this process as mindless as possible and accurate, so that you don't dread doing it. It's pleasurable. And then you have a bunch of binding sitting there waiting to use. You know? So you don't have to backstitch either unless you're a puller like me. I'm a puller, notorious. Oh, see, I think I flipped it right there. See, I did. Look at that. But look, if you flip it like this, you guys, here's the trick. Just cut it off. Flip it over, and then start sewing again. You just got to cut the seam allowance off. It doesn't matter. You can lose that 1/4 inch. No big deal. Don't seam rip it. All right. So there is some of our bias, and maybe we'll create more later on when we're at this pinkish. I'm going to start with the rainbow one because I feel like there's going to be more people that are interested in the points of that rainbow. I actually read the Closet Case blog, and I think I told someone that they have a tip on there for getting those points lined up. I don't know why. I thought I saw her write something about that, but I think I was attributing what she wrote to something. It was for something else. So, you mean like? Do you mean these, Rachel? These little binding tools, like that. People love these things, and they are pretty handy. But I don't use them, and there's no reason. It's just I just don't find they're helpful. I don't think this comes in a 35 millimeter width, which is the binding I use most often. This also pre-folds your binding in a way that it's double fold. Yeah, see, Terry likes to use them. People love these things. Yeah, so when I use these, will you guys remind me when I'm at the iron? I'll show you. I've used one recently, and I can't remember why I was using it. But I find that the tip to using it is using it upside down like this, I'm pretty sure. And then I pin it to my ironing board. And then I pull and iron it as it comes out. So there's probably a lot of people who use these, have lots of really great tips. I don't, so I've just figured out what works for me. I haven't used it enough to come up with lots of different ways. So just know that there's probably really good ways. I feel like the green one is 35 millimeter, isn't it? I loaned my green one out to someone and they never gave it back. Let's see if this width works. Yeah, this width works. This is the 18, number 18. Clover number 18. This works. But see, it only does it folded this way, so it doesn't do the last fold, this one right here. So this one is narrower. I have a green one, but I had one, but I think the red is actually the right width. Someone told me recently that it's not. You seen double folds? So, doesn't one of you have the machine that does it? The little tabletop binding machine? I thought I saw one of you guys post that. Stop sewing. What are you doing, Phoenix? All right, so I'm gonna try and do this the way they recommend for the most part. I think this is actually pretty clever that they sew these in pairs. It's a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Oh, I interfaced all my pieces. I'm gonna put my automatic back tack on. This is the perfect thing. Wait, I think I turned it on. We'll see. Oh. Yeah, see, so it does the back tack. So now just make sure you keep track of how if you're doing a rainbow, how your rainbow goes together. Like, don't put these on the wrong side. So then that goes like this. Yeah. So you do it in pairs. Right, okay. So what's going on here? This is always on my right. This one's on my left. Okay. The top one goes on the right. Get into I'm always trying to figure out what the habit is, you know? Hi, Rachel. How's it going? 2 Rachels. Okay, this one goes on my right. This one goes on my left. I'm always trying to figure out how to production sew, even when I'm not going to production sew. It's a sickness. The dress form shipped yesterday, you guys. And they're sending a half size as a very generous gift. I'm like, what a distraction, man. I'm going to be all about that dress form. I put a lower bobbin in here. Look at it. It's sewed here, but not here. I did that on purpose, though, because I really wanted to get this one winding. Oh, look at that. Well, look at that. There was still thread in there. Maybe I need a new needle. It's probably just the automatic back tack. Let's see here. Thanks to all of you who bought the project bag pattern. It's pretty exciting. I know, it's so exciting, the dress form. I know, it's happening. I'm like so excited to put all my clothes on it. Hi Frank, how's it going? Yeah, Frank, are you a Patreon patron? I don't recognize your name. I will definitely do something like that, but it's just not something the patrons have requested lately, and I am so focused on getting some other things out the door so that I can, you know, make a living. So those are my priorities right now. All right, did I just flip this one by accident? This is it, right? This is how I took a photo. Maybe I look at it. Let's see here. This looks okay. Yeah, I know those first ones are right. This is right? Did I flip these? No, I didn't flip those. We're not going to think about it. Oh, cool, Milan. You're going to do the bootstrap dress form? Oh, really, Terry? Wow. What do you mean they like vintage bobbins? Do you have vintage machines? All right, so now I'm going to sew a couple of these together, and then I'm going to press them before it gets too cumbersome to press. I'll press this open. I should probably press these before I do this seam, to be honest. I'm gonna press this open so that the seam juncture, I'm just gonna line it up like that. So that whoever I told that they have a tip on their blog, I'm sorry about that, they don't. But I will also tell you that their points don't line up either, so. Oh, yeah. That kind of makes sense. You know, so many... Oh, God, I'm getting lost. I just sewed those wrong. Ah! You know, so many of those new bobbins are plastic. You know, those little plastic ones. And those kind of make me nervous. All right. Cheating with my seam ripping. I'm not going to cheat. I'm going to pull it out this way. Alrighty. Yeah, like those little plastic ones. Exactly. I always found those to be kind of flimsy, but I actually don't think I ever had problems. Their hair's smaller. Oh. Can you find them easily enough? Yeah, the reason I know I didn't go like with my other Juki, the one that I replaced with this one, because the electronics finally blew up after, I don't know, 35 years. I didn't like go down that path of finding a Juki, finding the electronics and putting it on. They were just like, don't do that. Because the parts are getting really hard to find, and those machines are so popular, people kind of look for them. And they're kind of hard to find the parts for then? I'm sure they're out there, you know. But the expense, you know, in my opinion, industrial machines are just they're so affordable, right? I spent $1,800 on this one, almost $2,000. That's a lot of money for most people. But the thing is, if you were to buy a brand new home sewing machine that is in the realm of the upper realm, you're easily spending that much, if not more. So I feel pretty comfortable with the fact that this machine costs this, you know. Why does this look weird to me? Why did I have to disrupt this order here? I'm gonna put them in the right order. And so when you start looking at how to fix those machines, if it's costing you $800 to fix it, you could get a brand new machine without electronics for that. So the amount of money I've spent on maintenance on my machines, I could have bought 4 new machines. You know? Okay, I'm going to iron this first before we go further. Let me turn my camera, or oops, I bonked that camera. Yeah, so here, let's see if I can remember, or maybe I do it this way. I think there's a pin right here. Yep. So when I do this, oh, got a mess here. Here we go. I'm right-handed. And I usually put it way over here, I think. I did this recently. What was it? I feel like I did do it upside down because then it wouldn't disrupt it like that. But you need to make sure. Whatever tool you need to feel confident in doing whatever you're doing, I say go for it, you know? That's great. 50 online, that's plenty. Oh, wow, a machine for top hats? Wow. Is this how I did it? And I go like this. Yep. So I'm not resting it. I'm barely got it there like this. And make sure that this feeds good. But see, look at this. I'm doing it wrong. Yeah, caramba. I'm done with this. Done with that. I don't want to deal with that right now. I hate sewing binding on batiks because of that. Fabrics I can't see the right or wrong side. You think, oh, this will be easy. There's no right or wrong side. Well, there is. And if you can't see it when you go to do your seaming, it just causes you problems like that, you know? All right, I'm going to open up all these seams. Mainly because I kind of want to try and get my points together. All right. I only barely do it on this side because I actually don't like ironing on my on the interfacing. It just feels, it kind of makes my skin crawl. Do you guys feel that? You know what I mean? So I just kind of touch it and then I flip it and do it from this side. It just, that's why you'll see a lot often I flip it over. I don't mind nails on a chalkboard. Hi Angela, how's it going? The top hat machine. I kind of want to go look at that now. One of my favorite museums I visited was in Belgium. And was it in Belgium? Yeah, I think it was. And it was the Museum for the Industrial Revolution. I kind of have a strange fascination with the Industrial Revolution. But if you wanted me to like cite historical facts, I'm not your gal. Just ask Brooke. I'm the worst at telling a story. I love telling a story and then I get everything wrong, so. All right. In my case, the tool's not helping me out here. Oh, your other half had a heart attack. I'm so sorry to hear that, Rachel. Hi, Megan. No, I don't think so, Angela. I gave a quick tutorial on how to cut bias because I forgot to do it when I cut out the poofs. So, yeah. Well, I feel, Brooke, I think I'm a good storyteller in some ways, but I'll always be like, but wait, well, was that it or was that it? You know. Cottonopolis, yeah. I hope your other half's recuperating well, Rachel. I always like to wish people like a thorough recovery rather than a fast one, you know? Fast is great, but thorough is better. All right, so let's put these together. So I'm going to focus mostly on where the intersection is here. Now, if you really want to, or maybe not. Where's my, oh, there it is. You could, you know, draw on your seam allowance like this. You know, like we do on the pie slice if you've made that. And then you'll know that this little intersection right here needs to hit on a seam on the other one. Like that, you know? I think one method that would be worth exploring is pushing your seam allowances one direction. And then that way when you try and get this intersection, if these seam allowances were pressed this way and these were pressed this way, they would nestle against each other and kind of lock together. Oh, I'm so glad, Rachel. Yeah, it's true, Rachel. I've been to the Smithsonian and I did feel, oof. Okay, we've got the automatic back tack on. I forgot. Yikes. It's a powerfully quick thing. I wanted to line these up better. Right? Okay. So if I'm holding it, I don't have to press my back tack. My back tack is like right here. And I have a bigger, like more formal one over here that I rarely use. So this way I can hold on to this right here. I'm looking at my intersection. Like that. See, look at that. Okay. I'm going to get closer and then line it up. All right, so now we have this one on top of this one. We don't have this seam pressed out yet, though. I'm just lining up these seams right on top of each other. And now that juncture is what rules. It doesn't even matter what seam allowance. I mean, it is. Don't take that out of context. But I just mean, like, now we're going for where it lines up. That's right here. Pretty close, like that. Yeah, Terry, right? My back tack is right next to my hand on my home Bernina as well. have any modifications. This is standard electronics. I have a very vanilla machine. And there are other machines that do really great things. The vanilla works really well for me. It's called a single needle machine. And that's kind of a weird term. It's confusing, I think, because it makes it sound like the other option is multi-needle. But it's not that. It is needle feed or walking foot. Those are probably terms you guys have heard of. And then there's all the specialty machines. I wanted a different one, but it would have taken me 6 months to get it from Japan. And it would have gone to Florida first. And then it would have been this huge like shipping fee. And I can't even remember why. It was just a very good multi-use machine. If someone's interested in an industrial machine and you can find it, I would recommend getting one that is a zigzag as well. Oh, it doesn't have the back tack. It has a back tack, but not an automatic one. Yeah, so they were pretty excited that I was into this machine. Like they wanted to see it too, the folks that were going to get it for me. And then we were all like, oh, we were all pretty disappointed, like that it didn't work out. So, because I was like, because they had done some research for me, which I really appreciated. They're very nice to me. I'm not a huge spender there. Maybe I'm just consistent. I don't know. And that's Meisner's in Sacramento, who I go through. So I'm just holding it right there. That is it right where I want my needle to go. I'm not doing any voodoo. Oh, but you have a back tack, but you just don't have the automatic. Yeah, that's okay. If you have the back tack, my very first industrial, you guys, didn't have a back tack at all. So what you did was you sewed a little bit. I'll show you what you did. You went like this. This is how I learned in college. You sewed a few steps, lifted up your presser foot manually, which is back here somewhere. And then you didn't have a needle down. And then you would pull it back to the beginning, put your presser foot down, and keep sewing. No thanks. I am marking the juncture of my points because I'm feeling a little bit of an overachiever today, and I want to get my points lined up. So that's all, Kathleen. I'm marking the juncture of the points. You could just put a big old beautiful covered button over the points if you wanted. If you don't get them lined up. But I thought it would be fun to try, so I'm trying. I'm pressing the seam open here while I do this. And then I'm looking at this one. I think you just won't notice it after a while. Oops, I automatically back tacked on myself. So there we go. I'm a little off on that one. Let's press our seam allowance open. This is the top. Yeah, and this, oh, what am I making? Oh, I thought I said marking. I am making the Closet Case Patterns Floor Pouf, which I didn't even show you guys this morning. I just went right into the binding tutorial, so I didn't want to forget that. So here, this seam right here. And this one right here. I'm going to get rid of this big old knot of points in a second too. So I'm making one floor pouf the way they have you do it for the most part. And then the other one with a solid top. I'm going to hack this off right now. Pretty thick. It's getting pretty thick right there. All right. The Remember, you don't want your points to line up down here. You want it on your seam line. These kinds of things are always a little confusing, you know? It looks like I got that a little bit off right there. Hey, right, Kathleen? I know. Yay! Thanks for buying it, Kathleen. I hope you enjoy sewing it. Let me know how it goes. This is so satisfying cutting these points off, you guys. Chunk. Yeah, I think a better sewer than I would have no problem with these points. Look at this one's really good. Look at that. I'm so glad my rainbows. These look pretty good. Ooh, so exciting. These are my first scraps for inside. I don't want that to touch my iron. Yeah, don't worry about the typos. I get it. I am notorious for that. What's a jack machine, Helen? Is that the brand? I feel like one of you got one of those recently, and it was such a pretty color. I remember going, well, now I need that, you know? I'm going to sell my 2 machines. One I'm going to give to Rayanne, and then the other one I'm going to sell soon, like as soon as I find someone to buy it. I'm going to just flip this right here. Because it kind of bugs me. Just flip that seam allowance so it stays open. And then press that open again. It's pretty thick right there. I mean, it's not impossible at all. Like, it's not that thick, but this is definitely getting up there. Yeah, button over the center, right? Okay, so now we're gonna line these up. We're gonna try our best to get this point. And so I'm gonna do this. It is right here, I think. Let's see where it is. It's right here. Okay. Right there. I shove my awl in there. Okay, I've got my awl in there. Just gonna pivot this around like this. I think I'm gonna sew this first, so I don't have to worry about it. Making sure my seam allowances are still pressed open because it feels really thick through here, so be careful with your machine. Let's just look at that. I wish I wouldn't have back tacked. Oh, that's not bad. I'm gonna take that. You know? Oh, cool, Helen. I like my wool mat a lot. I like how flat it is, you know, and how sturdy and soft it is. Like, I like the feeling of it. I always feel like no matter what, my ironing board, it feels bony. You know what I mean? You're watching me in Frozen 2? I haven't seen that one yet. It was my friend's birthday yesterday. She's a big Frozen fan. But she's having some scary issues with her little dog, so I think she was pretty distracted. I win! That's pretty darn good, you guys. Look at that. I'm so excited. Oof, it's thick though. I think you do a better job than me of grading your seam allowances. I'm gonna chunk it out here a little bit. I wasn't like super, super precise when I was sewing. I did pretty good, but you can tell, like, see right here, the difference. Because I went for the point rather than matching these edges up. I went from the center out. Oh, fun. Yes, I know, right? This is pretty good. Ooh, I really want to sew top stitch it. Yeah. It's so bulky under there. Okay, so there's our top. I hope that's helpful the way I did it. I'm gonna iron a little bit of this here. I'm trying to think what would, it's like, it's not bad, it's just trying to think, like, what could you do to better get rid of, look at that. Can you see that? All right. Hi, Lindsay. Nice. This is really fun. Yep. We are definitely multi-everything here. Do I ever quilt? I'm trying to quilt a little bit now because I'm meeting, like, in real life sewing friends here. Right, Megan? But I think I want to show off my points. This right here looks a little messy, but this is the thing. When I take things apart and then I try and get them really good, it all goes to heck then, you know? Oh, hammer it around. Yeah. Okay, thanks, you guys. I'm going to do that. I have a hammer. Okay, we'll do that. Because we have the wool felt pad, too. Yeah, I bet, Lindsay. Okay, so here, we're going to do let's put the zipper in now. So I'm using zipper that's by the yard because, you guys, I have, like, literally probably 1,000 yards of it. Yeah, thanks, Brooke. Yeah, I'm definitely a novice quilter. I finished my first, so I've sewn a lot of like little tiny, what I call pet quilts with 5-inch squares from scrap fabric. So I had so much fabric here that we would cut it up and make these quilt kits. This is the right direction, right? Oh, I can't sew this any way but this way, so. But I recently did the Tell Me a Story quilt. I did a little class because I really wanted to understand the foundation paper piecing thing. And then I finished my quilt. It turned out great. I really love how it turned out. It's actually in my office. I haven't even left it at home. And so I'm playing around with it and meeting other quilters right now. So that's my first real quilt, I would say. Okay, so here is the center notch. Now, what I want to say about this is that the width of your zipper, I'm not using an invisible zipper. And frankly, I wouldn't for this because I wouldn't want to spend money on an invisible zipper or the time it would take me to do it. Because on my industrial machine, you guys have seen, it's not set up for doing an invisible zipper. I'd have to do it on my home machine, and I'm just like, it's going to be on the floor. I don't really care. And I have 1,000 yards of this stuff. So what I want to think about is, if the zipper is exposed, that means I have to account for the width that's showing, right? So I can't just line this up raw edges like this, right? I need to think about this. So if this is the center, this little 1-inch turn back, it looks like it's about a 1-inch turn back right here. Sometimes you just gotta like lay it all out so that you trust what you're doing. Where's that? There it is. Okay. You know? And all zipper widths vary. So the closest I can get to my zipper is like right here, right? So this much of my zipper is going to show, okay? So that means I'm just gonna lay this on here. So basically, the seam allowance that I can theoretically sew, that seam line right there is what I'm gonna line up with that turn back part right there. That's what I'm gonna do. Yay, Megan! Scrappy quilt! Oh, really, Helen? That's awesome. See, that's the thing. I'm really lured by those things, those jelly rolls and all those fun things the quilters get. So I'm just lining up my notch, basically, to the seam line of the seam of the zipper. So this is my seam allowance of my zipper, because that's how it's as close to the teeth as I can get. So I'm laying this basically on the what I think is the seam line right there. That's what I'm gonna do. And I'm just doing the right sides together. I did cut something out the other day. I can show you guys, but like I said, it's just not my forte. So I'm doing a mini quilt, so the whole thing finishes 11 inches by 11 inches. It's really tiny. I think I've got it all. I think I've got it all cut out. It's ready to like start sewing. I have to figure out part of it as I go. So see, that's my, yeah. Yeah, Megan, I saw, well, I'm not sure if I saw all of it, but I saw your, the one you tagged me in. Those are fun. And you got more, huh? More coming. Yeah, that's true, Rachel. I could. I just wasn't even thinking about that. But you're right, I could, because you could do this where, like, basically, let's see. We might even be able to pull it off right now. Let's see. Because if I line this up like this, because that's basically the notch to the notch like that. I don't know if that's the right size now still though. Yeah, actually that would be. And if I had done this even better, I would have more of an overlap like this much, you know? Like I could take this out and really fiddle with it. But maybe we could just meet there like that. So if I wanted to just meet with that, I'm gonna iron this real quick. Let's just iron. Let's iron. Yeah, Lindsay, right? That's what I'm thinking. I just want to make little wall hangings for my office. Let me get my hammer. Wait, where's my hammer? Here it is. I love rainbow. I'll look, Megan. What are you gonna do? Like, you say you're doing scrappy quilt, but do you have like a pattern you're doing? You guys, I'm really trying to be a quilter, but the whole like 6 hours to cut something out, or I mean, it's not even that, it's like more than that. And then you get to sew and it's really fast to sew. Yeah. That's a little hard for me. I'm pretty sure I'm not doing this right, but I wanted to get it going and then press from this side. Hi, Arnie. Wait, is that Arnie or Annie? Amy. It's Amy. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Oh, that's right. You're doing the quilt along. See, I think I want to join something like that. You know, Amy, I used to find sewing machines at like garage sales for like $25 and give them to friends who wanted to learn how to sew. I really don't think you have to spend a lot on a sewing machine. There's so many people in the world that don't use their sewing machine, and they would love it if someone was using it. So if you have anyone in your life that you think might have a sewing machine that they're not using, You might ask really nicely if you can borrow it. And they might even say, oh my gosh, I would just love for this thing to get used. Am I right, everybody? Rachel, thank you for suggesting this. Hubba hubba. All right, so let's look at it like that. So there's my seam allowance. Here's a nice little handy pin. We'll just do this. There we go. Because I think buying a sewing machine is so, it's like buying a car. You wouldn't just take any old car, you know, so you gotta like find what you like and what you don't like. And getting to use someone's machine, at least you'd be like, oh, I really like what this machine does, or I really don't like this, you know? So, your name looked like ARNI to me at first. So, yeah, Louise. This is going to be quite the... Wait, that's a little further away. I love it when you guys are smarter than me. So I have to... My serging might show is the only thing. Ay, ay, ay. Sometimes when my foot is not smooth, like flush with the fabric, it'll do that. Stop it. I should say, because someone had asked about a threading thing, I should say that as a disclaimer, I had my needle, my finger guard removed on the machine. So machines don't usually, they have a needle guard on them, and I don't use it. So there's that. It doesn't change anything, but it is harder to thread, I think. So I'm sewing right down the middle of my serging, so let's see how this goes. It's not ideal. Oh, and I did overlock just the zipper openings of my Pouf. Yeah, actually, let's talk about this, what I serged and what I didn't serge. Oh, that'll be fine. Ooh, I love you, Rachel. I'm just going to sew. Okay, time to take off the back tab. I'm going to sew that down like this. Get rid of this. So because I'm using zipper by the yard, that is why my zipper can be in the middle without it being opened yet. Once I pull the zipper down, it will never do that again. People sometimes think my zipper is broken or I did something wrong when they see that, but it's just because it's in the middle. So, yeah, I never see sewing machines in thrift shops either, but garage sales, yes. Or Craigslist, yes. Yeah, and most people sew at the... Yeah. Yeah, oh, there you go. Goodwill. Yeah, it's selling for under $20. And the thing is, like... Make sure if it has bring a sewing friend if you have a sewing friend, because you don't have to sew in the machine. Like, see in the store, maybe you can plug it in. Even just running it without thread will at least give you an indication if it sews. But you can turn your hand wheel on the right hand side of the machine, turn it towards you. Always turn it towards you, and walk the machine with that. So like, see if I do that, I'm gonna unthread my needle. Make sure it's not threaded. I'm just telling you all this since you're new to sewing. Don't ever sew with thread up top and below with no fabric in it. You have to remove the thread in the needle. You will break the machine otherwise. So you can just sit here and sew like this. I'm just pulling the hand wheel like this towards me. And I don't hear anything weird. I don't see anything weird. You know, everything looks okay. It's not a guarantee, but it might prevent you from a few things, you know. Just make sure that if there is thread in it, you don't sew on it without fabric in there. Sewing machines are like this are a lock stitch. So they have to have fabric in there to go, you know. Yeah. Bye, Helen. You run your own business from the kitchen table. Oof, you must be tall. Yeah, Megan has answered. What did Megan say? Estate sales, that's a good one. Yeah, I like the covered zip too. Look at it, it's almost invisible. So the serging. So the only thing I serged on this was the opening of the zipper. And the reason I did that is because for the most part, this whole perimeter isn't on grain except right here for a short spot, right? This edge won't fray. Now she has you serge it at the very end when you have, like when you have all your points right here. She has you serge this edge. Now I cut all these points on grain so that the grain line was going down the middle of the piece, right? So this was my straight grain. So which means these sides are on the angle. They're not going to fray. The only fraying I'm going to get is a little bit, here, because this is where it starts to flatten out, and that's your cross grain. So if you want, you can overlock the perimeter. I don't think it's a big deal, honestly. It's going to be inside the thing, and you wouldn't do that on an aligned garment. So, you know. Yeah, there you go. I mean, Target has pretty affordable. Oh, it wouldn't work, Angela. See, I use a heavyweight thread on. I use a 40 weight. Okay, here we go. We need our, let's try cording. No expert at this. I don't have a cording foot. She talks a lot about that. What am I looking for? I'm looking for the cord. Oh, here it is. So I feel like my cord's pretty big, but I think it's going to work just fine. And I do have bias. Is this too much or what? I also got this out, but I'd have to cut it and make it. I have these, aren't these the cutest little raindrops? Where's my bias window? I know where that's at. Yeah, I don't know if I really want to do that, but I already have bias made. All right, so I'm going to use my zipper foot, and my zipper foot looks like this. So if you don't have a cord foot, I would recommend a zipper foot so you can get right up against the edge. And I don't have I can't move my needle. So this is as close as I can get. So we're going to see how it goes. Typically, I just skip the cord and I just put flat bias in there. So the other reason you don't, if you're going to serge, do it now on your circles. Don't do it once the cord's around. You don't need to do it with the cord, because if this is cut on the bias, this edge will not fray. I just know that, so you can trust me on that. I have a little a spool holder back there, so I'm going to stick that on there. Put my presser foot right here. I'm going to get rid of a couple things on here. So, I kind of want to do it all in one, but I'm not going to do that. I really wish I could put this on my spool holder. Maybe I can. I made the spool holder. Maybe I could do that. Yeah. It's too tall. Yeah, that's a great idea, Louise. Pre-made. I don't have any pre-made. I had to find it, and this is the only one they had, so I was just glad they had it. So I'm going to leave this one. Wonder if I could set this on top. All right, let's see. I actually use a yarn Lazy Susan on my spindle. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put it like this. Can you see that? Because they're going to draw out at the same rate. Why not, right? The only problem is the binding on the roll was put on with the wrong side facing out. So that's kind of weird. It stresses you out. I love binding. Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to leave a tail. I need 4 yards. to measure this so I don't do too much. Where do I love that binding tape? What? All right. Just gonna put it in there. I'm gonna leave my tail out. I'm gonna try and get pretty close. I don't need to get all the way up right now because what I really would like is this stitch line that I'm putting in right now. I don't want it to show when I sew it to this. And because I can't get that close, I'm actually not gonna get right up against the cord right now. I'm just gonna put it in there and just sew like this. I'm trying to figure out what you said, Megan. If you're asking about my binding, so this is the fabric that I designed using a friend's yarn, and I sell it on Spoonflower. So I had a bunch printed out, and I sent it to a binding maker, and they cut it for me. And I just have I have a few rolls that I didn't sell in my massive sale. And so this right here I printed on Spoonflower with the twill, on the twill, and this is on the poplin. So it's a different weight. It's also, I'm pretty sure, smaller, but I can't remember. It might not be. Oh, I think the repeat's different on it. That's what it is. This repeat is mirror. This kind of stuff, man, those details, right? Lots. One of the things that they recommend on the Closet Case blog tutorial is using worsted weight yarn as cording. Has anyone done that? Brooke, are you still here? What do you think of that? Using worsted weight yarn? I mean, even if it like felts, that's okay. It's inside, right? Oh, you're looking for where can you get cool binding? Ooh. Where do you guys get cool binding? You don't want to make it, Megan? You need pretty wide stuff for a quilt. I don't use it, but almost everybody has you use really wide stuff. So I just use what I have. But when I did crickets, I wanted it to be a wide finish. And so I actually did cut it like 2.5 inches wide or 3.5 inches wide. I can't remember. Yeah, so I would make your own. I have a video for that. It's really not that hard. But because also you're going to spend a bit for it if it's pre-made. You can get it at Joann Fabrics, but it's going to be probably the solids. Yeah, I know. Isn't that such an interesting thing that that's what they recommended, Brooke? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it only comes in like 3-meter lengths. Yeah. I am Nancy. Hi, Nancy. I am. It's amazing, isn't it? Brooke, you didn't hear us ask you if you wanted a rainbow cushion for your birthday. I was going to cut 2 out at the same time. Yeah, it's not as dense. That's what I thought was interesting. So they say, what did they say? Cording or piping. Oh, drawstring cording is fine. I'm looking for a ruler. So this is 12. I think this is 18. So 1 yard, 2 yard. Okay, I have 2.5 yards right here. I have enough cord to make 2. because I knew I'd kind of get hooked on this. Yeah, you can on Duckadilly. I saw it there, but it is pretty pricey. Very spinny, yeah. It's okay. I would have put this on a proper tube had I known I was going to put it on my little thing back there, but it's staying on there pretty good. Where's my pin? 2.5, 3, 3.5. About right here. I'm almost done. It takes like 4 yards. I'm going to use fabric scraps, Angela. So I think I'll just start. I'm going to go through all my trash cans. I'll put some safety gloves on first and see what I have on hand. And then I really wish I would have measured this off before I did this. 1, 2, 3, 1.5. Mainly because I don't want to cut into the what I have for the other one. You know, I would have cut this in half and just dealt with it. Yeah, Liberty is kind of a nice finish, you know. I just made that canvas bag, and it's probably the most expensive project bag I've ever made. But I loved seeing the possibility, you know. Oh, I hope I have enough for 2. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to stop here like that. This stuff is so tightly woven. Look at this. I can barely stick my pin in there. Okay, now we have our piping. And we're just going to put it around the perimeter edge. We'll do this one first. Let's start here. Now, I'm still not going to get it as tight as possible, and that's because I still need to sew this with the seam to the sides. So I'm just going to sew right on my... The only problem with doing that... No, that'll work. I'm going to kind of try and pull it a little bit. Is I'm not sewing on the seam line, so I got to be careful. See, this isn't looking hard, right? You guys can do this. I used to work at an upholstery shop. It was my very first sewing related job. Yeah, exactly, Megan. I'm going to just fill mine. So the funny thing is, once I read their blog thing, I was looking for that point tip so I could pass it on. They also keep their scraps in a separate bag that they stuff it with. And if you want an easier way to do than what I'm doing, they just use a mesh drawstring bag. 40 yards of different prints for your scrap quilt. Oh my goodness. You can make a few. You can use those though for the backing of your quilt. You know, just piece it together. I think it's kind of cool when quilts have an interesting back. Then you can also flip it over if you want. All right, I'm getting to the beginning here. And I'm just gonna cut it off. That was clean down there. All right, so let's see here. I'm gonna try and employ my usual tactic of folding back the binding. So I'm gonna take out some of this here. They might have you do this step at the same time you insert the cord. Like I just did this in 2 steps, which is funny. I'm usually the one that cuts out steps, so. Yeah, it's both sides. Oh, okay. So I'm going to turn, let's see. Kind of want to, there's my end. I'm going to butt this up against that and cut it off. I thought that the directions on how to do this was a little confusing, to be honest. I felt like there was a photo missing. Because the way it ends up looks like the way I finished my binding, but I was like, how do you do that with, yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. So usually when I start binding, I lay this one down flat, right? But it's open. It's open like this, right? When I lay down binding. And then this one I fold back like this on top of itself. Or no, I fold back my first one. That's what it is. I fold back my first one like this. All right. I fold it back and then I lay this on there flush with the cut edge. And then it'll be folded over like that. So this is kind of a weird way to do this. Let's pull out a few more stitches so that it's a little easier. These are the stitches I want. Let's get rid of some threads. Yay! My daughter really loved her quilt. I was pretty surprised. Okay. So usually I do this. I fold it back like this. This is when I'm binding. Just line all this up like that, right? And then this one would lay flush with that, just like that. Basically, you're just putting this one inside here and wrapping it around. All right, there's one. Rainbow-rific. Let's do our other one. Oh, the covered zipper making me so happy. Okay. I'm going to just start it off this way this time. So I'm going to take out a bunch of these stitches here. Get rid of this thread. And cut a little bit of this cord. Fold it back like this. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to leave it open like this. I'm just going to leave that little thing open right there. I can sew through my zipper because it's nylon. So if you don't have one of those, be careful when you're going through your ends. So. Oh, I'm sure he does, Rachel. I'm just staying on my original stitching, not getting really up close to the cording quite yet. I should have been pulling a little bit, I think. I'm going to start doing that a little bit. I'm just going to gently pull this a little bit. Alright, so now we have this. And this just needs to get cut up flush with the edge right there. Dang it, I have extra. And now I'm going to cut this cord the same length, or butt it up against the other one. So I'm going to cut it. Pretty sure this is kind of how they did it at the upholstery shop. So fold this down and stick this inside and wrap it around just like that. That's the threads I don't like right there. See, I feel like it could be tighter, but I haven't done the seam allowance yet. Ooh, this is it's a lot of rainbow. All right, we only have like a couple more steps on this one. I'm gonna sew my side panels right sides together, and if you did it with the like 12 pieces, you're just gonna sew all of those 3/8 of an inch seam allowance together. How does this go? Wait, it's this one I'm matching up, isn't it? Yeah, here we go. This one, this side, one of them is seamless, but the other one isn't. I'd cut this in 2 pieces. I could have done one long one, but... Hi, Daphne. How's it going? How are you? I don't like sewing seams with my zipper foot. It's kind of squirrely, you know? There's not much purchase on the fabric with it. I'm gonna finger press this. I don't remember seeing my notches on the circles. I hope they're there. Alright, so let's sew this one now. This is when you have your sewing hurrah moment. When you get a rectangle to a circle. There's nothing like that feeling in sewing. This is when you're like, I thought I was accurate when I cut this out and used the seam allowance, you know? But yeah, straight lines to circles, not my favorite. So let's put this seam, we'll start on the bottom one first. So we have this, I'm gonna put a, can we see our notch over here? There's my notch right there. Let's put a notch on this one. So I line up my seam right here, and then I know that this is my halfway point. So we're gonna do this. Oh, there's a notch. I'm so clever. Never mind. All right, here we go. So where is the center? Is this the center? Maybe what I'll do is start on the side here. This notch to this notch over here. Because I'm not actually sure where this goes. It could go right where the zipper coil is, but we kind of monkeyed around with that, you know? So, right, Kathleen? I know. This is going to be a very fun poof. Okay, now I really want to use my full seam allowance and hopefully get really close to that cording. So I'm going to look for my non-negotiable points, which I'm assuming that, you know, the way I can check is by, you know what I want to do? Wait a minute. I want to stitch this down through here. That would have been a mistake if I hadn't done that. Let me... Will this work? Wait. Let me find a thread. I don't have any thread over here yet. I'm gonna stitch this through so it doesn't do this. Right? Purple. I need purple. It's a long walk now. It's right here. Yeah. Okay. Wonder if I'll go with the darker one. I'm just going to change my top thread. I would have ruined that nice effect if I hadn't noticed what was about to happen, you know? You can do this without the cording too, you guys. But there is something about having that little edge. It'll also probably cover up if you don't hit it right, you know? Okay, my only thing is, how much did I do here? Let's just take this off. I only did 1 inch. Now I could pop up some of my cording so that I can back tack under there. I may as well. It won't take much to do. Like this. And then that way I can kind of back tack up there, you know? Or I don't even need to back tack. It'd just be nice if I don't back tack that the edge is in the seam allowance, you know? So it'll be better. This is why I'm really glad I put this where the overlap. Look at that. It just overlaps in the color almost perfectly. Wow. I'm glad I didn't put that right on the zipper, but I just didn't want to add to the bulk of that anyway, so, you know. This is a little bit stout right here. This is so invisible. Where is it? I'm going to do it right here. Okay. I think that'll be enough. So I'm just going to sew this down along the zipper. Let's make sure our white bobbin thread's not going to show. Not bad. All right, let's do it. So as long as I sew here, I'm good. Kind of want to put my non-zipper foot on so I stay nice and straight. Back on track. So yeah, like I was saying, they used just a mesh drawstring bag for to hold the scraps, to contain them. For the exact reason I made the interior thing, so you don't have to remove all the scraps. if you're putting a zipper in a something like this, it means you want to open it up again. Now, if you never want to open it up again, you could just like leave a little spot, like make this a solid piece, leave a little spot, turn it right side out, and then hand sew it shut, right? But that, like, sewing these little curved edges by hand, it's gonna be a little weird. So if you're opening it up again and you're gonna get all your scraps out, it'd be nice that they're contained in a separate thing. So they use just a mesh drawstring bag, and it's not even like the same shape and size. It's like this huge bag, and they just put it in there. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's true. I mean, you really don't, as long as you don't have a bag that's made out of something bulky, that'll totally work. So that's what I'm gonna do, Megan. Yeah, I know. Okay, so here's my point, and then there's my notch right there. All right. Oh, so now what I'm gonna do is figure out my center while I have this off here. Like this. Match these notches up right here. And now I have where this is the center. It wants to stretch, so be careful. And I would say that is just about the zipper teeth, so I'll just target the zipper teeth as my center. There's that right there. Circles are really, they're tricksy. They're very tricksy. Yeah, so it's actually more like the edge of the zipper tape right here is my center. I'm going to put a pin rather than a notch right here. And right here. These are my centers. So yeah, I'm excited about this. I'm just going to keep it right here next to my machine or my cutting table and throw stuff in there. Ooh, that notch is a little deep. Yikes. Here we go. Let's do this. All right, now find my non-negotiable spot right here. Make sure all these threads are poked into the seam allowance. That purple one was kind of creep out. Like that. I'm gonna clip this. And now I have like nice solid feeling of where this needs to be, and I can kind of feel it like that. You can kind of see it. Practically sews itself. Wouldn't that be terrible if I said things like that? I can't imagine, but all right. And so here's my next one here. That's a deep notch. Who did that? Same thing. I have this little section here. Just kind of line it up. Looks like this is a little bigger this time. Maybe it's where I chose to use as my center. That's okay. You can add more clips if you need, or pins. Now remember, you want this edge to line up to the raw edge, and you want to stay on the seam line. It will sew together if everything you did up to this point is pretty accurate. I'm having to ease this a little bit, but you know, I'm just gonna let it go to the next section, and now I'll know I need to kind of finesse this little area. But if you cut everything out pretty accurately and then you use the proper seam allowance, you should be okay. Just stay on the seam line. You have to stay at that 3/8 inch seam line. And yeah, drawing it on there is a great idea. I totally do that when I'm doing certain things. I just don't want to mess around, you know. Because look at that. It's pretty great, you know. See? It wants to line up. Now remember, when you're sewing those 12 pieces, if you didn't do a single piece like this, well, I did 2, but if you're doing 12 sections, that's, you know, a lot of seams and edges where something can go wrong. So if you're using like a linen scrap or mixed with poplin, you might have some funniness happen. So just remember that and be nice to yourself. Maybe even leave the last seam where you join it together and kind of check it out. They are, Kathleen, because I ended up piecing all my 12 pieces together. I don't have the picture here, sorry. Here, I'll show you the picture. You won't be able to hear me for a section, but here. You see that in the top right corner? I'll show you one more time. So there's like 12 sections around the perimeter, the side, and there's the seam line matches to each one of these sections right here. So basically you just have that, and then the seam here going to each section. And then for the bottom, there are notches on the pattern. I didn't use all those notches because I don't need like 24 notches on my bottom. I just needed it in the quarter sections. But yeah, they're there. Just don't borrow from Peter to pay Paul too much, because it really will come back to bite you. There we go. No problem. All right, and so now we're gonna do the top in here. And let's see. I just have seams on this, that's all I'm gonna use. So I think the seams are pretty self-explanatory for me. Like I can use those are nice and positive. I haven't, Megan. Not yet. Let's see, here's a notch right here. I'm just gonna mark that so I kind of look and see. Let's see, 1, 2. It's probably this seam right here. I like just giving myself these anchor points. That way I know I only have to match between this section, you know? And this is a little stiffer now that I've interfaced it and it has the cording on it. Oh, you know what I found? I liked sewing from the other side too. So how about we flip it over? I'm going to sew this seam and sew to here, and then I'm going to flip it over. I find it easier to lay your rectangle, have your rectangle be on top of your circle. So if you're feeling fiddly, flip something over and try it the other way. You might find that it works a little easier. Because see, I'm kind of having to pull the curve down, and I can't really grab it because of the interfacing. Plus the interfacing kind of sets my teeth on it. All right, so I'm going to do that. I'm just going to start and go from the rectangle. It's a little easier. What is it? 3 sections, 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Here's my, and look for that seam line under there, just like that. All right, get going. And see, now I can just pull this like this, and it's so much easier, don't you think? Look at that, it just wants to do it. It's sewing itself. I made, well, after I read their thing, I was like, wow, I really overdid it. So I made myself a bag for the inside using the same pattern pieces, but without a pieced top. All right, and then we only have one more notch left, and it's gonna be, it's like 1 through 3 sections, right? 1, 2, 3, so it's right here, right? Oh man. I'm feeling a little perfectionist. Oh, there's another one that's off. I'm gonna flip these seams open. Why not? There we go. I'm not the most elegant with those clips, am I? I'm always like, ugh. I do find myself more and more starting to grab them, though. I really should be a Clover spokesperson. I feel like my style of sewing really works with whoever develops tools there. This is really pretty easy. This is totally, I don't know, which one of you said this would be a great gift? This is totally going to be my gift now. I'm just going to make a few of these, and I'm going to stuff them throughout the year. Oh, hi, Lori. You know what? I saw that they bought my pattern. They're really awesome. They've been really awesome to me over the years. In fact, I forgot she emailed me. Ay, dang. She emailed me about the Pellon, and I meant to reply this morning. What was I doing this morning? Oh, well. We're done. That's it. I'm done. So anticlimactic. I'm not finishing all the edges. You can if you want. It's basically because it's going to be inside. It's not going to be a big deal. I wish I had scraps to fill it up. I think I might. But I really like what she says. She's like, you have that work in progress you didn't like. You have that ugly fabric. Throw it in there. And I was like, yeah. I do have a bit of that. I used to make pillows from all the polar fleece scraps because polar fleece became like a big deal in the home sewing world in the mid 90s. Ooh, you guys. Yeah, well, welcome here, Lori. I'm glad you joined us live. It's pretty nice to have new folks. Yeah, I like them. They, I will admit, they were probably one of the only people I ever sent product to for their events. I'm gonna sew one now, Louise. How long do you guys want to sew for? I cut out 2. This is cute. This is a great way to promote my fabric, huh? So I think, look at that. I could get tighter to this. That would be my only thing, you guys. If you have a cording foot, let's see, how could we make this better? I think like partly it's that the seam allowance being 3/8. So that's 3/8 right there. That's pretty tight. So obviously in some of those spots, maybe I didn't hit that seam allowance as well as I could. So I think what I would probably do is really make sure when I sew this on there, I more than line it up along the raw edge. I might hang it off a tiny bit just so that I do a better job, you know? So, oh, tweed scraps. Yes. Oh, of course, Angela. Run the show, exactly. Oh my God, you guys talked a lot. I didn't even see. Sorry. The delay is such a cumbersome thing. Yeah, I want to see the kitties too, Berlin. I'm going to sew that next. Yeah, so that's what I would recommend. You can use bigger cord, but I don't really think that's... So I think it could be tighter, the cording. If you have a cording foot, she said she bought one for $5, like somewhere local to her. But you can get it, and she has a link to one on Amazon. All right, so let's... My kitty one, I didn't do the triangle top. So Louise, what I did was this. I cut out an interior, and I just did a solid top like this, and then the bottom, and then the sides. And so this will just get sewn up pretty much how I just did that. And then this whole thing, I'm going to sew this up at a tiny bit bigger seam allowance so that it can easily fit in there. But you guys, put this inside your thing, and same if you do her drawstring bag method, put that inside and then stuff it. You'll probably sweat a lot less. You know what I mean? I hate stuffing. Okay, so I don't know if you guys really need to see me sew that one. Let's sew the fun one instead. Because this is going to be kind of fun. Oh, now I need to deal with my piping, you guys. God dang it. Or I could go get some piping and cheat. Let's piece together just a few more of these and I'll have enough for piping, cording. And then we can also put back on my presser foot because I don't like using the zipper foot very much unless I have to. All right, what do I got going on here? This is my little mess right here, right? It's not a mess, but it's not a mess. Okay, that's right. I just ironed it the wrong way. Okay, so this is the outer is the right side. This is the right side. A little bit. Yes, Louise, I am going to leave it open. You know, honestly, you don't really have to leave the bag you stuff your scraps into if you're going to make a separate bag. If you're going to keep that, like always that, you don't have to use a zipper on it. You can use Velcro, you guys, too. You could use Velcro. Velcro is pretty expensive, though. It sounds like a really easy option, but it's pretty pricey. You don't need a strip that goes all the way across it if you don't want to. But if you don't do one continuous strip of Velcro for your opening, make sure you do use a bag for your scraps, or maybe put a piece of fabric between, you know, maybe lay a piece of fabric right here on top of your scraps, because if you just have Velcro, they might sneak out. Because there's always that kid, dog, human, person, whatever, that's going to plop. I'm a plopper. This is my mom's biggest pet peeve with me growing up, because she only has antiques, is that I don't just land nicely like a lady. I plop. So there's always that person that's going to plop out, and you'll see little bits of scraps eventually making their way out. But using a continuous piece of Velcro is kind of expensive, and it's hard to open, and everything's going to get caught on it. So that's why I went the zipper route. This is the right side, right? All right, all right, we're not going to make this frustrating for me. We're going to wind this up like a responsible sewist. So you can do as I do, not as I say. This is what I do. I just kind of leave it on the table. It's nice when you have something to wrap it around. We always had the little interiors of binding that we'd finished. We always had like a little bin of those. Rand really loved keeping those, and they always saved us for this kind of thing. This is how I do it. I do it with my right hand. I always get rid of these things. You can press them open if you like. The overachiever in me will applaud that. This is the outside. I have to talk my way through it too, you guys. We only need about 4 yards. So I just need a few more of these. I am going to put a zipper in the lining, Poof. Sorry. I didn't really finish that train of thought, Louise. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, so only because that's easy to do for me, because I have a lot of that zipper still, and I'd rather not have to hand sew it. But you don't have to. You honestly don't have to make a removable liner. You don't even have to make a zipper. You could sew that shut. It's just if you want to wash the outer without washing it with your scraps, because your scraps are going to be probably very heavy. This is why this works for scraps so well. The scraps are going to be so heavy, and if you put it through the laundry, it would probably make your laundry unbalanced, you know? I know you know. Ooh, that was generous. Yes, Brooke understands you. Yeah, so I am just gonna, I tried to make those as simple as the same as the way they were already sewn, so I didn't do anything too tricky with you guys. But if you follow their blog, they use a mesh drawstring bag. Mesh to me is not easily found. So, but maybe you have some laying around, like from something you bought, you know? Like I always reuse fabrics from things I bought. All right, I'm kind of mentally done with this. Do I have 4 yards or not? Did you see that? We won't talk about it. Yeah, exactly. Bye, Angela. Thanks for coming. Yeah, you get it, Louise. I just wanted the outer to be washable. I have lots of pets. Yeah, muslin would work. I wouldn't do something like too heavy. Unless you're going to do the same shape as the Pouf. I'm kind of, now that I saw that they did a mesh thing, I'm like, ooh, I hope I didn't like not think of something, you know? I'm hoping my one that's the same shape is going to work. One more. It's my last one. We made it through all of it. I didn't cut all my corners off or iron it, but yo, it's done. Okay, so here we go. Here is my big kitty. This one I made shorter, so it's, I would say, so here's the difference. It's probably about 4 inches shorter, maybe 3 inches shorter. So it's going to be a lower Pouf. I was thinking of it more of something like sitting on the floor or an animal laying on it, you know? Yeah, didn't see anything. All right, so same thing. I didn't do the 12 pieces. Oh, look, this is where I tried to match the kitty faces. Let's see how I did. I can't wait to see if I have enough scraps. Maybe I'll just put some big pieces of fabric in there just to take a picture. Big Kitty is gonna love this thing. You know what I think would be really cool is making one in something like a softer fabric. Why won't my scissors cut? Here we go. Going through the bobbins today. This one will be fast since we don't have all the points, but I do have a seam straight down the middle of the top of this one because of the fussy cutting we did. I'm gonna keep my, rip my bobbin, dang. I'm gonna keep my bobbin winding. So. That was too much of a tail. Oh, well. All right, so this is the one with my face. It's like one, it's gonna be a winking. Yeah, you can stuff it with pillows. It's not the same cat that we tried. This fabric is amazing. It's just really hard to deal with. It's Fussy Supreme. You should have seen the markers we would do for cutting out all the chicken boots stuff. Because we also knew, like, okay, well, if we cut, we would lay the fabric out. Talking about this stuff always makes me want to, like, do, like, a little series on how you manufacture, you know, because there's a lot of things you don't think about. You think, oh, fussy cut, but there's a lot of people that are sewing and selling things that aren't doing it on a very big scale. So they're cutting out like 3 or 4 or 10 at a time, you know? And cutting can really eat into your production cost. You don't really think of it as something you bill out for in your production. Like a lot of people skip it. But if you were to take it to a factory, they would straight up charge you 50 cents a piece. 50 cents a product, depending on how many pieces it was. That's a lot. And it's nice if you can get that number down. So we would cut out all at once, but that meant that when we rolled this fabric out, we rolled it out so that every layer, the same kitty stacked up. You know what I mean? Yeah, right, Lindsay, exactly. She meant for the photo. And when you do that, and so then you're like, all right, and then you try and cut it out. You got to make sure you don't forget a piece, because when you fussy cut, it's kind of a pain to get it back. It also meant that every project bag, we would cut 2 per layer. They would all look exactly the same, which is great for the photo and what people get, but it also meant that someone might be like, oh, I really wanted one with this cat on it, you know? So you have to kind of prepare yourself to deal with that. So, all right, and so my bottom is just a denim, a really lightweight, non-stretch denim. I thought about even using this side of it. I feel like it looks a little better. You know? I think I will. It kind of blends in with the linen. Would you, Rachel? I just don't know. I feel like people would be like, I don't know about this, you know? I'm not like an expert. I just know what works. What worked for us and what we had to do, and there's a lot that people don't realize you're thinking about. Look at these 2 little kitties. So this is the top of this one. What do you guys think with the seam? It's okay. You know what I'll do? I think I'll stitch down the middle of it. You know what I mean? Let's press this. Let's iron. I'm gonna iron all this. Yeah, I'd love to do a series, and I'd also love to do a talk about pricing. Because people really need some confidence building with the pricing, you know? It'd be my really great opportunity to chastise all the people that are underpricing their stuff, because that hurts everybody. Be my selfish little thing. All right, so this time we're going to get better about putting the zipper being hidden. We're going to set it up from the beginning. So I'm going to press one of these back, but I'm not going to press the other one back. You can use an invisible zipper. That's what they recommend. Like I said, my machine doesn't sew those very well. I don't have a foot for it, and I can't get very close. So, come on, iron. Get hot. Get hot. I know, right, Lori? It's such an interesting fabric. Wouldn't it be great if there would have been a dog version? That would be really fun. So this time when I do this one, I'm gonna... Oh, I just did this the wrong way. Shoot. I want to use this side of the zip fabric. But I think what I'll do is sew it so that the... Well, do I want to do it that way? Yeah. I may do it the same way we did. Antique fire dogs? What do you mean? What is that? All right, let's press this open. The great thing about this, even though it was really hard to cut and use in production, was the fact that it had a row of small cats and big cats. So you had options, because not every product we made, oh, there was my phone. Every product we made was big enough to handle those big cats. You know? But it was pretty... It was pretty funny seeing it on like we did the big cat on one of the needle cases. So there's a gigantic cat up front. I never got tired of this. All right, so now we're ready to sew. Oh, mantle dogs. When you said fire dog, I instantly was thinking like for the fire station. Just maybe because my dad was a firefighter. People were always giving us fire related stuff. All right, so let's see here. I think I'm going to top stitch on either side of this. You know, like own it, right? I'm going to make it look like it's intentional this way. Why do I have so many things up here? I don't usually have anything but 3 things. That was so much straighter when I let go. Do you see that? Ay caramba. I don't think I could leave that. Yeah, but I don't want to backstitch. I'll think about it. All right, let's do the zipper. So again, here's my zipper by the yard. So it comes like this on my roll, and then I put the slider on here. Definite learning curve and knack for this. And that's why it's in the middle of my coil. So it's nice. I like being able to do that. See, I was just thinking if I did... No. I'm going to do it the same way. I could quilt the top. Oh, Staffordshire mantle dogs. Oh, yeah, like stitch it. Yeah, you totally could. I think one of these in a, do I have to switch thread? You don't care. A quilted top, just in general, like one that's been pieced and quilted, would be pretty cool. It already has that kind of vibe when you use the pattern as is with the triangle points. Oh, I'm gonna check that out. Mantle dogs. They were Staffordshire? Oh, that's really funny. This time I'm gonna top stitch this. I'm gonna own it. I like white top stitching on this kind of fabric. There we go. So now I know that that's my turn back though. Oh, so I really hit it that time. Oh, I might have done that wrong. Darn. I got a little too big for my britches on this one. Because I don't think I can get this. See, look at that. Nah. You know what I could do though? Because this needs to line up with this notch right here. Just like this. Yeah. Guys, I can just cut this off. I'm going to cut it off. And then I'll sew it again. Just so that I can use this piece still. And then I'll use a cream. I can, maybe I can get another black zipper out. Oh, I have one. Bum up. Okay. So now I have my notch. It's right there. So this has to go to the notch like that. Cutting it close now. You saw what went crazy. Mantle dogs. They held your logs. I think I'm gonna just overlock this edge real quick. I'm not gonna put it on the camera yet because I need to work out the sound. The sound is really terrible with this serger right here. See what I mean, jelly beans? Oh, I went crazy. Yeah, right? All right, so let's put this now. I'm just gonna put it right sides together. Do the same thing I just did. Is this gonna work? Barely gonna work. Okay, now we have a two-tone. You guys, send me home. I guess I'm not doing that color. I'm doing black. My God. I'm gonna iron this. Oh, well. I tried to get my wrong side of the denim. I know, Rachel, exactly. I couldn't see the forest from the trees. Through the trees, right? I may need to make this overlap a little smaller, but let's see. It's my notch and my notch. Okay. We got this. Rachel, I feel like you're doing that, like, that SMH emote. Like, you put it on the wrong side. This is what happens. I start, like, getting a little rushed because I'm like, oh, they're like, she's taking too long. We've already watched this. Yes, I think I can get this on here. Yep. Okay, cool. I might have to change my thread color for the top stitch, for the flap. Oops. Best laid plans, right? That was the sewing fairy yelling at me. I would have think she would have done it the other way around though, so. All right, so there we are. Now we're good. I just need to top stitch this down. Doing it before we have the piping on here will be a little easier this time. It's wanting to torque my fabric right there. You see that? I'm not trying not to let it. Anytime you sew something to zipper tape, you are not crazy. It makes it really rigid. Yeah, it's her fault, exactly. You know, like anytime you sew something to zipper tape, the zipper tape is really unforgiving. So you can see that I'm starting to get the beginnings of torquing there. I can actually press that out. It's not bad. But look at that. I didn't start myself off that great either right there. This is always what happens to me. I do the first one and I'm a little cautious. And then when I do the second one, I'm like, I got this. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I don't have this. Maybe I need to calm down with the cockiness, you know? I didn't think I was thinking that way. So I may have a little trouble when I go to match up my perimeter thing because I did just trim that. So let's make our cord. Oh gosh, Malin, that's gonna be beautiful. Oh, do you, Lori? That's smart. Okay, so this last time I could set my cord on top of the roll of binding, but this time I don't really have a roll, so it's just gonna go in the center like this. Hope it works. I didn't use all of my cord for the rainbow, so I'm really hoping that, look at this huge piece, you know, I can use it, but it wouldn't be ideal. Oh my God, why is this seam wrong? It's not wrong anymore. Okay, so now I really hope I seamed this the correct way. I'm feeling not confident right now in it. So I'm just gonna sew this in here real quick. I'm not gonna use my zipper foot yet. I actually have binding that matched the Big Kitty fabric, but I just wanted to do homemade. Shouldn't have picked a batik. Batiks are terrible for demonstrating something that you really need to pay attention to your right and wrong side, you know? Oof. A deep red lichen duster. That'll be so nice. So when I bought the cord, I think I got 9 yards. Oh, 9 yards? Is that what I got? So it's okay if I have that extra. I got stuck. I don't know if the home sewing tables have a spool holder back there, but I really find it handy. I use it a lot. I'll put but most people probably don't have things on rolls, so I guess it's not something to really like say how useful it is if you have the option. But it is for me, because I can put a roll of elastic on there, binding, anything. It just keeps it from falling off my table. And all it is a peg, you know? No paper towel rod, exactly. Yeah, actually, this goes on one of those little yarn ball holders, and then the yarn sits here, and there's a little hook, and then you can knit, supposedly, and it'll spin. That is not how it worked. It kept falling off the hook. The yarn did. This worked really great on the spindle, though, so we used it all the time for stuff like this. Or if we were packaging up orders or tagging things, we put the twine on there. So it really worked great for other things for me. This is the best way to check if you have enough. Just lay it on the straight piece, this piece right here. You don't have to lay it up to the curve. So if I have 8 layers of this, it'll go fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I just need 2 more. That's great. I haven't used that stuff. The Wonder Tape. Wonder what? Wait. Yeah, Wonder Tape, exactly. Oh, here's one that's wrong. Dang it. Knew there'd be one. I knew there'd be one. That means that... Will it be wrong when I fix it? Let's see. The center's coming undone because the little cord thing is spinning inside the middle. Like this, like this, like this. All right. Just like that. And this is the right side. I have to say it out loud. This is the right side. There we go. Now we're done. There we go. Back on track. I just need a little more. That was 6, right? I need 8. Seven, almost, all right. I had to do some geometry at the fabric store to find out how much I needed. I knew what the diameter of the poof was, and so I figured it out while I was there, how many yards I needed. Okay. Hi. It's time for bed, huh, Ellen? Okay, so now we're going to attach our cord to our circles. And I never put it my end like at the center seam. Sometimes it just causes issues later. So I'm going to pull out some of my stitches here. Cut a little bit of the cord. I'm taking out about like 3 inches, I would say. 2.5, and then I fold it's just to make it easy, and I'm gonna fold this back on itself like this, but I'm just gonna leave this open for now. I'm gonna start sewing it down here just so that I have room to add the tail in there. So we'll just start like right here. So you don't even need to do anything funny there, just leave yourself a spot. And this time, oh, you know, well, I'll put this on with my regular machine foot, and then I'm going to switch to my zipper foot when I do it. Triangles of tweed. Wow. My husband is leaving today for a soccer game. So remember, he got the RV last, like at the end of summer, beginning of fall, I think. And then his one thing he loves is soccer. So he has season tickets for a minor league team, which is actually now becoming a major league team in Sacramento. So he is going to it's like a preseason game. Their season starts next week. But what's really great is where their field is. They're building a new stadium, but where their field is, he can drive his RV. Even you can stay in a hotel, the little motel, and then there's a little walking path under the freeway. But now he has his RV, and there's a little RV park right there. And so he can do that, stay in his RV, just pay the RV fee, and then he can walk. He rides his bike. That's what it is. He rides his bike. All right, so cut that to match this fold back edge right here. This goes to the fold back edge. These line up. Now I'm going to take out some of this though. I don't think I need to take out these stitches if I can just get some of this out. Cut the blank cord. Fold this back. Lay this in there. Fold this around it. Voila. Almost a little too snug. Getting a little wrinkle there. There we go. Sometimes too snug, you get more wrinkles. All right, there's one. And now we'll do our other one. This blue looks pretty good with it. You know? I don't have enough stuffing for 2. Is this going to be enough? I don't know if it's going to be enough. I hope so. All right. We got the hang of this now. I'm going to pull this binding a little bit just so I make it all the way around. This is what happens when I get like nervous. I'm playing chicken like with something. I start speeding up. I have to know. The suspense kills me. Oof. I don't think I'm going to make it. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm going to make it. Make it a smaller poop. Wouldn't that be cute? That's what I get for doing the exact measurement of what I needed. Wow. Okay. Well, That was fortunate. That's literally exactly what I need. Pull out a little bit of this cord, get rid of it. So they can be butted up against each other. Fold this back. It's a little awkward, but it's not bad. Like this. I asked my daughter if she'd want one of these, and she was kind of like, no. A pin cushion poof. Oh, that'd be so tiny. Oh, you're making these. Oh, cool. This is a perfect project for that. Oh, denim would be great. Yeah, denim would be great. Yeah, I started looking at the hashtag kind of late. It's okay, Lindsay. Okay, so now we're going to, we learned that we like sewing with the rectangle on the top. So let's see, I do have my notches, right? Yep, I do. I thought that was it right there, but that's ink. There's my notch right there. And let's see, do we have it on here? There it is, right there. Okay. I just had it. Where'd it go? Is this it? Yeah, that's it. Right here. Oh, I want my zipper foot. I'm gonna go tighter this time. Cause you know, even if I stuff this really tight, it's not gonna change how tight my cording is, you know? My cording will look a little sloppy on that other one. So. Scrap strip, wow. Yes, exactly, Lori. I know, that's exactly what I thought of. I was like, oh God, yarn chicken. I've had pretty good luck with yarn chicken, but I've had bad luck too. Oh, Brooke. Are you still here, Brooke? You know, if you're still here, you know how I was like, I have all my knitting projects done. I don't have anything left. Like, I don't have any works in progress. I don't know how I forgot this, but I have that Diagon Apples scarf that you and I both know really well because how many shows did I lug that thing to? Isn't that funny? I totally forgot I had that. All right, I'm going to push it up against the cording pretty tight this time. Best I can without my cording foot. So I just match it to each little section as I go. I find that to be easier than going and pinning your entire thing. You can do that, that's fine. I just like to do it in sections when I know it's going to be fine. And I have marks. Like if you didn't have these marks, you would probably want to pin it all because you're like, oh, I don't know where this is going, you know? But because I know these quarters are all I need, then that's all I need to really focus on. It's not a small thing, so. Yeah, I can't believe, Brooke, that I forgot I didn't finish it. It's actually long enough. I just need to do like 2 things. I think maybe that's why. I don't know. I know, and I used all those Harry Potter colors you made for me for chicken boots. Oh, this is my next one, right? Okay. It's at the here, right? Yeah. Pretty sure it's at this thing, at the turn back, because that's where my notch is. I don't know, that looks kind of slack there. Yeah. I also have a cashmere Fair Isle hat I never finished from, what was Pepperberry? That kit I got, but I'm not finishing it for a reason. It's, it's not good enough knitting. I like it too much to finish it. You know what I mean? So. You know, Lori, it's hard. Like I moved somewhere away from a climate that was great for knitting. So I would wear my cardigans all year long. You know, I didn't have any trouble wearing. I'm a sweater knitter. I really like making sweaters. Obviously, right? Clothing. I really like making clothing. So a couple of years ago, I could tell I was starting to kind of taper off. I have still plenty of yarn and some projects I really will get to someday. But I was kind of I was just sad that I wasn't wearing my sweaters. And running chicken boots meant that I couldn't wear them to work because my tables would scratch the front of them and threads would get embedded in them. It was just too much work. Night, Malin. See you next week. I think we're making a sweat. Helen, you're right. Bye. Helen, you're right. Oh my God, why didn't we think of that? Look how cute they are. Drama. But yeah, I'm not stop knitting, but I'm not knitting right now. I found that I just had a lot. Right, Terry? OMG. I've been making a lot of mistakes on camera lately. I love how nicely she asked that. Why wasn't I thinking? Why? Can I rip this? I can. Where's the notch, though? I don't want to rip it. Did I get past the notch? Where's the notch? There's the notch. Okay. Let's see. Rip past the notch. It's your fault. Oh, God. No, I'm always ripping stuff. Where's the notch at? There it is. Okay. I'm not messing around, though. I'm not ripping my kitties. At least we know it sews. Right? Yeah, I love knitting. I love it a lot. I also can have some hand issues, you know, so knitting sometimes aggravates that, but, and it has been something I miss when, yeah, drink. It's an exclamation point. Exclamation point. I am very excited to make kitties. Yeah, so I don't know, I'm just taking a break from it. I have a friend who is a quilter locally, and she's a garment sewist as well. She's an art teacher here. She is teaching a fiber arts course and more of like an exposure to fiber arts and the possibilities. And so she's trying to learn how to knit, and like she's starting to fall down that rabbit hole. And that's it. You got it, Brooke. That's it. And it's kind of like she the other day was like, look at this, I'm watching a live stream, and it was Arn and Carlos. I was like, oh yeah, they're kind of famous. So it's kind of fun to see her discovering things, and you know, or maybe it was a video. I don't know if they were live or if it was a video. So, but it is really fun seeing it take hold, and you know, like I think like it's starting to also dawn on her that you can, or I think she knows this, but you know, like the idea that you can sculpt your garments is pretty fascinating to a sewist that sews garments, you know. Let's get rid of some of this. I mean, you know, it's a scrap busting item, right? All these thread things can go in there too. I just know I would just probably stretched out the edge though. Let's get rid of some of this. There's a right side up on this. I actually thought about the right side up on the rainbow one, and then I was like, all right, we don't need to be that picky about how our colors line up. I don't think I could have lined them up, but I started thinking about it. I didn't think about it once with these. Thank you for showing me, Helen. I would have been bummed if I'd finished. Helen gets a gold star for paying attention today. All right. Oh yeah, the seam ripper is just a tool. Can you imagine writing a book without an eraser? Yeah. There you go. There's your pearl of wisdom today. I don't know why we think of the seam ripper as failure. You can't learn without failing. I want to get a lot of these because I don't want these threads to be on the outside. All right, so this is the bottom. Yeah, okay, I did this right this time. Fast forward. I sewed it correctly. I just didn't sew it correctly. This is why ripping it apart like that, which by the way, boys and girls, that is really risky that I did that. But these are both pretty stout fabrics, and that's why I also hand-picked it from the notches, because the notches is a point of weakness and it would have probably ripped. But it leaves a lot more thread when you do that. So in a way, it's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other, you know? How come this side's not notched? This side's not notched. The easiest way to do it is go like this. Line up your centers that you already have like this, and then find where you're gonna notch it. You don't have to fold it in half. You just need to move the center. Design choices. Exactly. Hi, Bootsy. How's it going? I think we've seen you here before, though. Yeah, I know. The schedule thing, man. We had a later stream this week that started like 5 Eastern. I'm kind of experimenting with that. I didn't feel like a lot of people were like, yes, finally. So I'm not sure if I'll keep doing it, but I'm totally open to doing at least one stream a week, you know. What am I making? I am making, oh wait, who are you talking to? Oh, cool, Helen. That's cool. That's hilarious. As a seam ripper, it's a beard trimmer and a seam ripper. What the heck? Are you asking me what I'm making, Daphne? I'm making a floor poof. Hassock. We like that word better. I like that word better. To hold all like scraps that we're creating, you know, so we don't have to throw them away. It's a free pattern by Closet Case Patterns, and you just need to sign up on their newsletter list to get it. All right, but I just sewed the cats upside down, so now we're back on track. I already finished one in rainbow. It turned out amazing. I'll show you when I'm done with this one again. This one is more feline oriented. I made the top of this one not in the triangles that they have you do, because it is a scrap busting project, so you don't have to have big pieces of fabric. I used regular fabric. I didn't use scraps, so. But you could. Like someone in chat is making one from tweed scraps. That'll be really nice, actually. It's a classy, that's a classy poof. Okay. I just marked each quarter of it. And remember, if you have a zipper you can't sew through, be careful when you get to the spots where it is at the ends. They don't have you do some tricky zipper thing where it's like no zipper at the ends, kind of like that hillside tote we did this week. Okay, so this is this, and then there we go. I'm just looking for my notch. You can barely see it right there. Clip. I find doing it from the straight piece, sewing with that on top, with the circle underneath, a lot easier than the other way. I have some cording in there too, so I'm trying to get really close to the edge, or close to the cord. And then that way, maybe it'll be a little more cinched up than my last one was. Because my last one, the cord was a little floppy. All right. Last quarter. My invention idea is to make a seam ripper that's also got a little vacuum on it. So it sucks out the threads at the same time. So someone can have that idea as long as you give me one. That's what I want. Oh, neat. Vests are so great because you don't have to sew the sleeves and they don't take much fabric, you know? I'm wearing my tamarack vest right now. I think I would bring in the shoulders next time, but I use that Cantha fabric as the lining. I'm wearing my Cheyenne tunic underneath too. All right, so here we go. The cats are now right side up. They look weird, but they are right side up. All right, so let's see now. Let's center this. Last seam. Where's our... Now, the other reason to do this in quarters, like find your notch and do it in quarters, is that if you sewed this used only your halfway points, you most likely are going to get off a little bit. And if you did, your poof might be like this, you know, torqued. You can torque this thing. So basically what I'm trying to say is, if this is the center, you want this center to be above the bottom center. You don't want it to get torqued a little bit. I mean, lining that up isn't going to prevent it from torquing, but if you do it, you're not going to, as long as your centers are centered, right? You just wouldn't want this center to get off like over here, you know? So... All right, where's my notch? I don't see it. Do I not have it? Ugh, I might not. So we'll just fold it in half and find our halfway point. Yeah, I really don't have one there. Do I? Oh, yeah, I do. It's right there. Okay. Oh, don't you love it when the notch is in the right spot still? Where's this one at? I really can't see this one. So let's line it up like this. It's right there. I don't see anything there. Oh, well. Maybe I missed one. Flip it other side up. Thank you. You guys are so amazing. Thank you, Rachel. It's funny how I did that on both, right? It's like the natural thing to pull it and keep going. Get some of these threads out of here. This is my seam ripped edge that is hopefully not stretched out now. This fabric kind of gets thready to the edge. The linen cotton canvas. All right, here we go, and here we go. Woohoo! I I better find enough materials to stuff this thing because I want to take it home. I want to take one of them home. All right, here's this one. How many of you are making one of these? I'm going to a sewing thing after this. The Modern Quilt Guild that, you know, I've been like meeting gals through. There's no guys in it yet that I know of. They're having like a sewing today. So that's kind of cool. I'm just going to stop by. They already started. I keep getting a new clip out every time I need one. I only need one and I just keep moving it, but I keep getting a new one out every time. It's like my mom when I was a kid, she only allowed us, and she's still like this, we would use one knife all day in the house. Like it would be the knife you use on your toast or your sandwich or whatever. We'd wash it and it would sit by the sink all day and just wash it over and over again. And it would just, so there would just be one out of the drawer, right? And then the other thing is, yeah, that was kind of the main thing, right? And you only got 1 cup a day as well. And I remember thinking about this when my daughter was little, starting this rule. I'm not very opposed to washing dishes though, so it wasn't something that really bugged me. And my mom's not, you know, nobody really likes it, right? I just don't mind it. She also had 2 small kids plus me, so there was more. I only have 1. But it is one thing I wish I would have done because, first of all, there's never spoons available in my house or bowls. And I don't even have the same number anymore. Like, where'd those go, you guys? But it kind of reminds me, like, I just need 1 binding clip. All right. We're done. Forgot my label. Megan. Blaming that on you. All right, let's shake off these threads. I think I have some I might have to take out on the outside. So this isn't a locking zipper. I don't think you'd really need one either. You know, like, so it wouldn't automatically open. I don't think you need one on something like this, though. Really wish I would have used the other side of the denim, but oh well. All right, here's my other one. So it's got the kitty sides. And then the top. You could back it with some batting and then quilt it. Yes, Helen, exactly. Yeah, well, Megan, the thing is, this is what I just recently learned about myself. I didn't know this because I'm actually not super picky type of person on a lot of things. But I don't like the non-matching silverware. Like, I really don't like it when I don't like the handle of a spoon or something. And so there have been a couple that have mysteriously showed up in our drawer, which that stresses me out too, thinking that some poor mom somewhere is missing a spoon, or some household, you know, is missing a spoon or a fork. And I brought the ones I had here home, and I only left myself these ones that I bought kind of randomly that had the blue plastic handle, like a colored plastic handle. The other day I was cutting something in half and it just snapped in half. Me and Rayanne were always like, these things are so junky, and we would just throw them away. Plus I started worrying about if the metal was safe, you know. And I decided in a fit just to bring home a bunch of spoons, but then I was like, I can't leave myself just these blue plastic handled ones. I need one nice spoon I like here. I hardly ever use spoons here. This is so cute. Look at, there's my mismatched kit. Even the printing is different. Can you see the different color in this and that? Right? Yeah, I really like it matching. This piping looks better. It is tighter this time. Very cute. What have I got in my garbage here? Not much. All right, well, so the only thing I have left to do is make my inserts, which I'll just do. I don't need to do with you guys. You know how to sew it now. They'll be easier because there's no piping. So if you want to do that, you can check out the cutting video because I just figured out the measurement of the 12 sides and put them together. And then I used the bottom, put the notch on the fold for the top piece, and then cut the bottom the same. So, and I'm going to sew it at a slightly larger seam allowance so that I can put it inside here. Nowhere to put one of these. This will be good in my bedroom. This is big. This will hold a pug. You know? Get Bill of Rugheads back. That'd be cute. This will actually look... I like this height, you know? Cool. I'm happy. You want to see my rainbow one? Let me grab it. I don't know how it ended up way over here. Here's the rainbow one. I do like the interfacing on here. It feels good. And it's taller, much taller. I wonder how many bags of stuffing it would take for one of these. What do you guys think? I think it would take like, for this big one, 7, maybe 10 bags of stuffing. Like if you wanted it firm. The thing is, it wouldn't be very heavy. And I think the scraps make it kind of sturdy and heavy. Yeah, I love it. I'm loving this. This is like my new favorite project. I'm making these for gifts. Yeah, right? And on the bottom, we have our zipper opening. Yes. I want an air cushion in there. 8 bags, you think, Megan? I think it'd be 8 at least. It depends on how you'd want it. Yeah, an old duvet. Night, Louise. Sleep well. Maybe restart it, close out all your apps, and put it to sleep. It needs to go to bed. We'll see you next week, Louise. Thanks for coming. Yeah, cool. Well, I'm happy. I'm going to go try and find fabric now in my shop to stuff it with. I have like tons of fabric on bolts that I don't use. Yeah, that's true, Rachel. Yeah, but I'm going to look at, you know what I could do? I'm going to bring these to the studio. They have this big, oh, they probably won't let me take it. They have this huge bag there, and they put all the little scraps from quilts in there, and then they make dog and pet beds for the shelters. Yeah, right, Bootsy? I actually think I have an old down comforter I could probably shove in one. Oh, I'm so excited. I think I actually have a comforter no one will use. Like the kid kind. Ooh, I want to go. I'm excited. All right, well, thanks for coming, you guys. I really appreciate it. You guys liking the sound and the lighting over here? How do you feel? I don't even look at myself. I'm going to change my backdrop to something. I could probably take my vest off, huh? Yeah, I'm liking it over here, so I'm going to try and figure out how to make a commercial video, a little commercial for my videos now. I think I'm going to stop monetizing my YouTube channel and get rid of all the commercials. Yeah? Okay, cool. I know we hardly fuss with the lighting now, right? I swapped my cameras. I swapped my machine cameras on me and my face cameras on the... It was better. Yeah, this is great. Look at... I'm pretty happy with that. That worked. I think it's Laura Jones that wanted that tutorial on doing the point, so I'll tell her that we were successful. But my cording is a little slack. Like I could have done better on that. It'll be fine when it's stuffed and sticking out, but I feel like it could be tighter. You see that? So if you have a cording foot on your home machine, you might find that really useful, because what it does is lets your machine rest on the cord, you know, like it sits on the cord and it stitches right here, but there's like a little divot of your foot that sits on that cording to hold it in place. Yeah. All right, you guys. Have a great weekend. So next week, you guys want to sew this we have a wrap dress from Hearts, from Folkwear. Oh, I found a really old picture of me. I wanted to show you guys. I'm wearing a Folkwear top. I got rid of the top. It's right here, I promise. This was for like when I won that Apex award. They needed a picture, but look at baby staring me. But look at my blouse. Liberty of London, all pin tucked Folkwear peasant blouse or cheesemaker smock. I donated that. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. It was really well made. Yeah, the dress is cute, right? And then they sent us this really amazing, like a Brussels washer linen, I think. Or wait. Viscous linen noil. So, I kind of want this dress. Cool. All right. Well, I will see you guys on Wednesday. What do you think? 11 a.m. or 2 p.m.? Should we try 2 p.m.? Do it one more time. I hate leaving out the euros. So. All right, you guys. I'll see you. Yeah, I know, baby staring at me. I found a picture of Michael and I, and he was like, "Oh my God, we were babies." I was 26 in the picture. I can't believe we've known each other that. So, me too, Bootsy. I'm glad you were too. Good luck with your vest. That'll be really awesome. Have a great time, you guys. Thanks for everyone who bought the pattern. If you're a Patreon patron, there is a discount code there. If you're a newsletter subscriber, there was one in your newsletter. So, did I look at the new fabric that's eco from Hearts? Was it the bamboo? Which one? 2 p.m. I think I'm gonna try the 2 p.m. as well. Yeah, so we'll do Wednesday afternoon. I'm gonna cut that dress out. My dress form is gonna get here next week too, I think. And then, yeah, I don't know what else I have to say. But yeah, if you guys want to show me what you're making, let me tag me on Instagram. I really want to see it. So, all right, have a great weekend. I'll talk to you guys later.